All right, everybody, here is a little Valentine's Day earring tutorial. So you can pick any size bead you want to make earrings for this tutorial. You can pick any shapes you want. The two main things are the technique, how to make them, because then you can go on and make any type of earrings you want, and the design of the earrings. So when I design earrings, I'm always looking at transparency, translucency, opacity, how much bling do I want, size and scale of the different components. So let me show you what I mean. So I'm starting out with two 26 gauge sterling silver head pins. And I want to make, I'm going to make this earring. So I decide I'm going to use a bead cap just to give it a little more zippity-doo. And then I'm going to string on this beautiful Italian Venetian glass bead. Okay, and then I have a Swarovski square dell. So it's a little square bead with little Swarovski crystals. So they're spacers, they're called. Space between the beads. Then I have to decide, well, how do I want to finish this? So initially I tried this Swarovski 6mm round rose bead. And I thought, well, all right, that's pretty, but what else can we do? So then I tried a lighter color, since we're doing Valentine's Day, a lighter color pink. And I thought, well, that's a little washed out. I didn't particularly care for that. So what else? Oh, so I had a cube. I had a Swarovski crystal cube in the rose color. All right, let's put a cube shape, so a different shape on top of the round, right? But I didn't particularly care for that. I just didn't like the way those components look together. All right, finally, I said, all right, how about a pearl? So I have a really pretty pale pink 6mm Swarovski pearl. And I strung, oh, I don't know if I can string that on. Strung that on, and I thought, okay, this I like. So I have the translucency of the Murano glass. I got a little bling in the Swarovski square dell. Now I have this opacity in a pale pink color that looks pretty but not washed out. I have two rounds on top, right? Okay, so winner, chicken dinner. Now, what about this pair? So this pair, I wanted to use pretty much the same technique. So I'm putting on a stainless steel spacer. Now I have a pink cat's eye bead, vintage cat's eye bead. I have another square dell, and I have a purple Swarovski, I think this is lilac, bicone. So a bicone bead is sort of like a conical shape on both ends. So I'm going to string on. So again, same technique, just different beads. I'm going to string on my pink cat's eye. I'm going to put on my square dell. Those are vintage. And then I'm going to put on my bicone. I think this might be a lilac AB. And I like that because it's Valentine's Day, but it doesn't have to always be all pink or all red. So I think those are Valentine's Day colors. So here we have our two styles. Now I'm going to finish them. So what do? You need a pair of round nose pliers. You need a pair of flush cutters. Flush, they're flat on the back, because when you cut with them, it makes a flush cut. So we're going to put your round nose pliers about 1/3 of the way down the tip of the plier. The further down the plier you go, the bigger loop you're going to get. And here you'll get a tiny loop. So I don't want tiny, I don't want huge. I'm gonna go about 1/3 of the way down the plier. I'm sitting right on top of that pearl. I'm pushing away from me. I'm holding the earring steady. I'm not moving the earring. I'm turning the pliers up 90 degrees. I'm bringing the wire from the back straight around and down. I'm turning again only the pliers back toward me 90 degrees, and I'm pushing the wire back, under and straight back. When I take it off, I have a nice little loop, round loop. And I'm going to hold on to that loop. The exposed piece of the head pin is called the neck, and I'm going to take what's left of this head pin, and I'm going to make nice, neat, tight little wraps around the neck. Okay. And now that end is where you're going to take your flush cutters and get in there and just, well, if I can get in there. I'm going to nip that off. Just nip that end off. Now if your wire went a little wonka-donk, so you can see this one's a little sideways, just going to take my round nose pliers and bend it back up. There's a little bit of an end in here, so I'm going to see if I can get in tighter without cutting the wire. And nip more of that end off. Okay, so there's one. Second one, same process. Pliers go on top of the top bead, directly on top. Head pin is between the jaws. Pushing away, 90 degrees. Only turning the plier up 90 degrees. Coming back around and down. Turning the plier again forward toward me 90 degrees. Stem goes back 90 degrees. Comes off. I grab the loop. Gonna wrap the stem around the exposed piece of head pin. Make a wrapped loop. And now I'm gonna cut this little end off. And there you have it. Now all you have to do is connect those to a pair of ear wires. Now this, okay, so this is a totally different looking pair, right? But it's all the same techniques. I'm wire wrapping loops. I used head pins. I used an eye pin on this bead instead of a head pin on this bead, and just put them together. So this is the technique that you want to learn, and you can make anything, any types of earrings. Thank you. Happy Valentine's Day.